Hi! Welcome to Wednesday. 6th day of the year. And everything's on fire.
Yeah.
I
don't know what you're so...
at first I kind of...
I don't know what you're so, like, upset about. This was probably the most fun episode of wrestling I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, everything that we are seeing today in the world is probably hundreds of years in the making, so can't really be fucking shocked on any level of extent. It'd be wonderful if we lived in a country where this didn't have to happen, though.
Mike said, what a chill day today, guys. Easy going. Mark streamed. No problems today.
Nothing happened. What a boring day.
Also, thank you, Eldon, for the raid. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to me trying to find one of my makeup brushes so I can just do a little touch-up real fucking quick. That's going to take a minute.
Oh, boy.
Oh, deal with it. The world is on fire, Mark. Yeah, at first I was kind of like, I feel a little bad about doing this, like, when everything is falling apart, but at the same time, like, I think this is the only thing that's going to keep me sane.
But also, it's like, we should all just carry on with our lives and not give these shitholes the platform that they so desperately want.
Fair points. Yeah, a fucking fantastic episode of NXT, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot of moments where I kind of thought that maybe somebody had, like, had their head smashed off their neck, so a little stressful. But yeah, honestly, another Wednesday where I realized NXT is really the only fucking brand I like right now.
This was...
as far as the WWE is concerned.
This was pay-per-view level, and, like, there was, obviously, if you don't know, there was a fight pit match that was supposed to happen between Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. That was canceled because Timothy Thatcher got injured in practice. So, impromptu, they threw in a mixed tag between Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae versus Kushida and Shotzi Blackheart, and that was probably one of the best matches we had today. An impromptu match just ended up being so fucking good.
Yeah, it was... oh boy. It was an eventful night. That for we got a lot of fucking news. If you want to jump into that, we can.
I mean, nah.
The cat peed on our floor again, so...
Oh god, she looks like she doesn't regret it whatsoever.
She doesn't. We can only blame her, sort of. Actually, I'm still blaming her. I don't know why she does this.
Alright, so news.
Oh, so you want to talk about the news now, see?
I mean, I guess if it'll get us to move away from the cat for a second.
She's no arms. Armless Kimpton. Okay. Everything is very precarious. I broke this again, so that's fun.
You broke that again?
When the tripod fell over when we were done last night, yeah. Or the other night. Snapped again. Which is fine. It's just super jagged, and every time I poke my finger on it, I'm afraid that I, started bleeding.
All for the show.
Literally, it's only for the signs. That's it. I worked too fucking hard on this to not do this. All right. So Mick Foley won back a singular brownie point today after speaking out in support of Mr. Jackson Third Riker. Mick Foley has called on Vince McMahon to remove the orange megalomaniac from the WWE Hall of Fame. Will that do anything? Doubtful. But it's nice that he shared such a sentiment, because very few people will actually at Vince McMahon in their fucking hate tweets, which I kind of appreciated.
Yeah. I mean, The McMahon family has given so much money to Trump that there's no way anything like that's gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, at this point though, like, who is it? What are they really losing?
I don't know.
Because at the end of the day, like, they can't really. I don't think a lot of, like, because they were saying how they wanted to have Trump on WWE TV at some point soon. I mean, maybe Fox, maybe SmackDown would let it happen. But I kind of get the vibe that USA might be like, not now.
You mean the channel that shows a bunch of Chicago PD and NCIS and CSI?
The amount of Chicago PD that Mark and I, the amount that of Chicago PD that Mark and I have watched over the last however many months, probably since like September now, because we just tune in before Raw comes on, is absurd. And every single storyline is literally just this guy who sounds like he smokes 40 packs of cigarettes before every episode, covering up the murder of some horrible dude by pinning it on somebody that's probably kind of innocent. And every time I have to sit there and watch it and be like,
Yeah. And then there's NCIS, which haven't watched in a while, and every episode we tune into, it's like, who are these people? How did we get here?
Well, they're actually, as we learned today, because we tuned in early and we watched a little bit of NCIS, about 10 minutes, we're back to the episodes where Tony's still looking for Ziva. So...
Oh, God. I never watched it.
Back to the basics.
Mike said NCIS is pure boomer programming. That and, like, Blue Bloods, which my dad watches.
My dad used to like watching NCIS with me because I used to watch Criminal Minds, and then we'd watch NCIS, and I had like 100 fucking episodes of each in the DVR.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had to stop watching Criminal Minds because I'm me, and I got a little spooked, if you will.
Spooked.
A little spooked. Because there's one episode where this girl's taking out her fucking trash.
Mike's yelling at us.
He's
saying, on with the news.
Well, anyways, there's one episode where this girl is taking out her trash in the middle of the night, which I used to have to do. And I live in like a very secluded area, so I would take the trash out all on my own and then sprint back into the fucking house because I was like, I'm going to die out here. And then one time a rabbit got killed in the woods by like probably a fox or some shit. And it screamed, and it sounded like a woman screaming in peril. And I was with my sister, luckily. And we both were like, fuck this, we're getting out. Horrifying. Anyways, more news. Mike.
Thrilling story.
Shut up. And so, let's see. So, unsurprisingly, last Monday's Raw viewership numbers were dramatically increased.
Mm-hmm. Shocker.
So, Finn's plan.
All right.
I've got a piece of news about Finlay. So, my brain just kind of short-circuited. So I guess Vince's cash grab was a successful one. Good for him. Honestly, I don't think that the numbers could have gotten worse based on what I've been hearing.
I mean, yeah.
I guess there's always a bottom of the barrel.
But now we're going to get more Goldberg.
Okay.
Yeah.
In addition to that, apparently Ric Flair was not supposed to trip Charlotte. That match was botched. And you know why that match was botched, Marcus? You know why?
Why?
Because Ric Flair tripped the wrong girl. He tripped his daughter instead of Peyton Royce, which is the person he was supposed to fucking trip. You know how much effort it took me not to tell you this when I found it out like 2 hours ago?
How does Rick... I mean, like, yeah, he's old, but, like, he can tell the difference between blonde and purple hair.
Apparently he can't when they're running against the fucking ropes.
Oh my god. So, that explains why Charlotte was so quick on social media to be like, oh, I can't stay mad at my dad. I forgive him.
I read that and my brain just stopped. Like, it flatlined right there. I was like,
Ugh.
did you not look up, Rick?
At least that was good improv from Charlotte in the moment.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
She snapped on him.
Because the thing is that it's like, you do have to consider, I don't think that they want to have Ric Flair on there like every week again.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what were they gonna do?
Yeah.
But in addition to that, Lacey Evans opened her stupid fucking mouth, and I have been waiting for this fucking moment.
Great.
Nikki, sorry, fuck that up. Red, you'll understand in a second. Lacey Evans tweeted in response to Cardi B talking some sort of like, just like kind of like, not like talking shit, but doing, you know, kind of vamping a little bit because like she was on Raw.
Like kayfabe Lacey things.
Sort of. It like, I don't think that she was involved in any sort of like planned out kayfabe, but she kind of just like, just said some shit. And who cares? It's fun. We were having fun. Everyone was having fun that night. And Lacey Evans said, because I think this was after Cardi B said like, oh, like you should like get me onto like WWE Raw. Like, I don't know. Lacey Evans said, careful what you wish for, you nasty. ... We aren't at Nicki Minaj. You'll get sent home with more than a busted eye. And Cardi B sat back down on her fucking phone. The tweet is now deleted, I believe, but luckily I retweeted it from Tiger Driver, and it's still like 4 tweets down on our Twitter, so I didn't have to scroll that much. Cardi B tweeted in response, a white woman can't never put fear on me, sweetie. Got me fucked up. I was showing love to WWE the whole night yesterday. I don't know where the fuck you came from with your unnecessary bullshit. And I said, this is what I have been craving for somebody to fucking say to Lacey Evans for the past fucking I don't know how long. Like, why did Lacey Evans come out with such fucking fire on that? Like, what was the cause? What was the fucking cause there? Cardi B just said, that's not how I wanted my, like, debut at Raw to go. Like, fucking book me, basically.
Cardi's the
and Lacey
biggest...
Evans had to be mean?
Cardi's the biggest mark in the world now.
Dude, but, like, straight up, though, Lacey Evans had no reason to say anything that she said there. There was no reason. Also, I can guarantee you that Cardi B probably could beat the shit out of Lacey Evans. Would she be breaking a lot of the rules in the ring? Probably.
Mike also said that Vince is going to book Lacey to squash Naomi in like 20 seconds now. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this is exactly what we saw the entire time that we had Naomi versus Lacey on SmackDown, which was just like a throwback to like the fucking Forgotten Sons versus Lucha House Party. And then the 3 fucking times that Lacey tried to tie Naomi's hair, like her braids, into the fucking rope. Dude, I fucking hate Lacey Evans. Like at first I was like, oh, Lacey's so hot. Like, yes, I'm like kind of down with this. And now I'm tired. I'm so tired of her.
And then you remember that she in NXT had a big thing with the Forgotten Sons.
Yeah, that down home Americana shit doesn't sit right with me anymore. It hasn't sat right with me for about a couple of years now, but anyways, so let's talk about Mr. Finlay.
Okay.
So you know how you and I often talk about how most of the main roster women are just completely misused, and at least it's not the Divas era, but like there's still dregs of it from the past.
Yeah. Dana Brooke.
So Darling Mr. Finlay, yeah. Darling Mr. Finlay said that during the, peak of the Divas era, he was assigned to work as a producer for the girls roster, the women's roster. And I'll read this quote quickly because it's kind of long, but it just gave me so much respect for him. He said, I was assigned to the girls and I was there when they had to do bra and panties matches and lingerie matches and pillow fights and Thanksgiving dinner matches, the whole thing. This really was not in my wheelhouse and was not who I am. I did it and tried my best at it. The girls were doing good, but I was getting embarrassed telling the girls how to strip each other off on a sunset flip. Eventually, I got the girls and sat most of them down. I was like, hey, I don't know how you feel about this, but I'll tell you how I feel. I told them I was embarrassed about not the job, but about how to talk to a girl and tell them how to take their clothes off in a wrestling match. It was degrading to them. We all agreed and hugged and had a plan to teach them how to wrestle. That's what we did. I got my wrist slapped and was told, this is not what we want. We don't want girls wrestling like guys. We want them pulling hair and having cat fights and wardrobe malfunctions. I would back off for a day or two and then we go back to wrestling. Stubbornly, I kept plugging on. Then, of course, they decided that they did want a women's wrestling division and it's their idea, right? I sparked the flame, I guess. First of all, I can't breathe today, so that was a fucking roller coaster. However, I'm in love with the man.
He's a good man.
That's where this begins and ends.
Mm-hmm.
It is slightly upsetting, though, to see the part where he says, I was slapped on the wrist for doing this. But anyways.
Yeah.
Bless his soul for seeing a higher reason for women to be in wrestling, though.
Yeah.
Because, probably without him, there was a liminal chance that this would actually have happened.
And good thing he's a producer now.
I wonder what he's producing specifically.
I don't know. Who knows at this point?
Also, Brian Alvarez was the one who broke the news about Ric Flair tripping the wrong person. So that is how I believe that this is real. Because I trust Brian Alvarez. My final piece of news here is that a surprising person was supposed to be called up to SmackDown on Friday. Last Friday. And in spite of all the canceled plans that we had, because we were supposed to have Seth back too, which didn't happen. Apparently, Damian Priest was supposed to be called up to SmackDown last Friday to join in the Roman Reigns, Uso versus Kevin Owens feud.
That would have been a weird place to put him in. I'm glad they didn't, because it would have felt so weird.
Well, apparently, though, no one knows why he wasn't called up. Or why those plans were put on hold, but apparently SmackDown wants to call him up sooner rather than later. So I think this is his opening, that whole feud. I just don't know what side he's going in on. I'd imagine Kevin's.
No. I don't know. Because it feels like the spot he's in NXT right now is just fighting the big guy, the big man, the big dog in every position, like Karrion, Finn, Johnny. He wants to fight the best of the best. So I guess it does make sense for him to join Kevin, but not in the, moral side of things. Rather, I just want to fight the best that there is. So I could see him
Yeah, because he's not really...
Okay. I could see him join the fight after Kevin's already done.
Yeah. Okay. Fucking windy up. I don't know, man. I'm sure that he would be fine with men going up to the main roster. I'm less than I am when I'm with women. But I do get a feeling that we're probably not going to see him on NXT again. After tonight, kind of got a little hint of a vibe, if you will, an essence of a vibe.
Mike said, and this is actually a really interesting point, does the Messiah need a priest? could he just be joining as Seth's, grunt, kind of like Austin Theory or Murphy?
All right. I'll take it.
But that does disappoint me.
I'm happy to take that.
That does disappoint me a little bit because
Beast Slayer back.
right, I really want the Beast Slayer.
Can he come back as the Dog Slayer? Oh God. Anyways, can he just come back? Actually, that's my first request here.
I just want him to come back and just hear "Burn It Down." That's all I want. I want that song back.
I do too. But also, I know better.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's our fucking news.
Yippee-ki-yay!
Let's get this
And now we
other
have
sign up.
Now we have one of the best episodes of NXT in a long, long, long time. Actually, I wouldn't say it's better than Halloween Havoc. But
I also would not say the best episode of NXT in a long time because 90% of the episodes of NXT, I'm just like.
But this was.
I know how bad this could be.
This was like a takeover, but just a regular episode.
Mark and I also realized that normally we probably would have made predictions on this, but we didn't, so sorry.
It's a good thing we didn't.
Yeah, I already broke my goal to not drink quite as much during a day because I did drink 2 liters of water before starting, so that's one half the goal done. But
good.
Today wasn't the day to limit myself.
Yeah.
Not in the fucking slightest.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking God bless.
But
Lord help us.
We had this New Year's Evil episode hosted by the wonderful, darling Dexter Lumis, who was one of the best hosts a special episode of NXT ever had.
The sweetest little prince.
And the best way to start off was Dexter Lumis just entering the empty Capitol Wrestling Center. He walked up to the control board and just started pushing buttons. Just started pushing buttons on the light board, and lights just started flashing, and then he saw a little lever that had like the little devil on it. Flipped that down, and suddenly he was in like a full suit, like a really nice like velvet red and black suit. And like all of the logos and everything came up, and then we started New Year's Evil. It was fucking awesome.
Also, it's important not to forget the fact that the transition between those two cuts was so perfect because when he first walked in, there wasn't the crowd. The crowd wasn't there.
Yeah.
Once he pulled the lever, all of a sudden it's the full crowd, and you couldn't really tell because you see him go to pull the lever, and as he does that, the lights come on in the back like you would expect, and we come back out and he's fucking wearing the suit, and I was like, I know how to make films, but who the fuck did that? A fucking editor. Anyways.
And so we started with Damian Priest versus Karrion Kross to start off the night, which is actually kind of surprising. Also,
somebody wants to tell me what Damian Priest's new tattoo is, let me know. Because I have no fucking clue.
He has a head tattoo now.
Mark and I were trying to figure it out. Yeah. We were trying to figure it out. No dice on what the fuck it is, but...
Yeah.
Anyway.
Also, if anyone notices my eye is this one's drooping a little bit, I'm not having a stroke. My eyes are just really puffy recently. Allergies.
Air quality shit.
Yeah.
Happy winter. Alright. So we have Carrion versus Damien. We are in the middle of the lockup when Damien just loads himself out of the fucking ring, taking Carrion with him. Carrion lands on his feet. Those are no harm, no foul. He gets back to the apron and manages to grab the rope to put a little space between them. There's a kick upside Karrion's head, and Karrion just fucking no-sells the shit out of it. He's then driven into the buckle. Priest is planted right into the fucking mat and kicked in the midsection in the corner. Priest is then kicked right in the fucking head and clotheslined in opposite corners. We get a belly-to-belly German suplex to Priest. Kross then begins wrenching Priest's arms backwards, and Priest is clotheslined out of the ring. Priest is then, as you should expect in any sort of semi-pay-per-view environment, Priest is driven into the steel steps. Kross goes to hit him with the top steps, and Priest kicks him in the stomach, which doesn't really bode well for Damien, because then Damien is kind of thrown to the barricade. Priest doesn't go down easily to the punches to the head that Kross rains down upon him when they're back in the ring. There's a kick to the ear of Kross and a right hook to Kross, which kind of brings him down like a little bit. Then we get the stupid fucking bell clap and a flatliner. Priest, I guess kind of like European uppercuts Carrion. Tries to suplex him, but those fucking little riblets are just damaged goods right now, and he can't manage it. We get a big clothesline to Kross and a broken arrow. Kross starts kind of looking like a little tired. Scarlett's like fucking ringside screaming at Carrion, who definitely does not know where he is at this point. A kick doesn't connect to Carrion, but Priest then dodges him as he's charging, and sends him into the buckle, shoulder first. And then we get kind of like almost like a DDT, but they didn't say it was a DDT, they just called it a takedown, which...
It was weird, because it was like, it wasn't just a DDT, I think he also swept Carrion's leg to get him down.
Yeah.
It was weird, but I liked it.
It's just, it's always so funny to me where I'm like, that kind of was a DDT, and then they're like, what a wonderful takedown. I'm like, we could just kind of guesstimate on that, you know? We don't have to just call everything that we don't understand a takedown.
But they will.
Just do what I do and just make up fucking words for it, or just say it's a move that it might not be. I'm a fucking professional podcaster. Hi. We get what almost looks like a double armbar on Carrion. Starts as a regular armbar, and then Priest manages to grab the second one. Kross transitions and begins elbowing Priest in the stomach. We get a right hook to Priest and a kick to the head of Kross, which Kross kindly returns the favor. There's a fucking springboard to Kross off the ropes. Kross gets momentum off the ropes and just kind of flattens Priest with a clothesline, begins stamping on the hand and ankle of Damien. Kross then hoists Priest into an upside down position on the turnbuckle, which Wade and Vic are like, oh my god, he's pinned to the turnbuckle. And I was like, if he just like slowly lowers himself down, he'll get out of that shit. But yeah, sure. No big deal. While he is in that position, Carrion knees the exposed riblets of Mr. Priest. We get a kick between the eyes of Kross. Priest goes for the razor's edge, somehow manages it in spite of his internal damage. Kross gets to the apron. Damien begins punching him and sends him over the rope. They exchange blows. And there's finally a kick to the face of Kross. Damien goes to like choke slam him, kind of. It doesn't work. Modified roundhouse, however, is solid, sending Kross off the apron to ringside. Priest then sentons down upon him. We get a spinning heel kick off the top buckle and it sounds of heaven to Kross, but like, my fucking god, the dude doesn't die, so still fucking fighting. Priest goes for the reckoning, but Kross cuts him off with an overhead toss and just like a fucking spear bomb, landing him high on his neck. A kick under Priest's jaw and then a kick upside the head, a kick under the jaw and a kick upside the head to Kross. Priest goes for the spinning heel kick, but is caught and then sent ribs first into the steel pole and then power slammed onto the steel steps because, again, it's basically a pay-per-view and it's Damian Priest, and if he doesn't land on the steps at some point, it's not worth it. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like Lana and the Samoan drop into the table. Damian Priest then gets back into the ring and, doing exactly what Elizabeth would probably do, turns to Mr. Kross and says, "I'm still standing, bitch." And then Kross kicks him in the face, and we get a Saito suplex, and then a final forearm to the head levels Damian Priest, and Kross wins. which is just the cruel irony that I think I face almost every day in my fucking life. So
yeah.
Sort of get it, Damien.
Is that what you live with every day of your life?
Honestly, every time I'm just like, I'm still standing, bitch, but like just to like life in general, and then life's like, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fair. I'll sit back down. You're right. Then I take a nap. Hi.
Hi.
I think we have an undisputed promo next.
Oh, is the match over?
Yeah, that's why I said Karrion Kross won.
Oh.
Which just leads me to believe that we're going to probably see Damien on SmackDown this Friday. Or in the coming weeks, because it's kind of on the loser to re-challenge. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's always like the person being called up loses a match, loses like a big match, but yet they move on to bigger things.
Which at this point, you would think that Rhea should be fucking in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Trips.
Yeah, we have an interview with Adam Cole and Roddy. Bebe. Adam Cole, Bebe. Roddy, Bebe. Mackenzie, Bebe.
Of course. Part of the family.
Yeah. And they're talking about the Dusty Rhodes tournament. And they just said they'll be fighting Breezango next week. That's it. That's all that.
Adam's like, they're good, but they're not as good as us.
And you know what? I mean, we saw the matchups later on in the night, because it's a Undisputed Era versus Breezango and Grizzled Young Vets versus Everrise. And I feel like how it's gonna go is Undisputed Era is gonna win, but not because of favoritism or anything. I think they're gonna win based on the fact that Everrise and Grizzled Young Vets, that's a feud. They're getting their feud done with in the first round. They'll probably wait for like Undisputed Era's feud with whoever they're feuding with, probably I don't know, but save that to like the finals. And then, I mean, who has a feud with Oni and Danny right now? It's Undisputed Era, so it only makes sense.
I am really looking forward to the Dusty Rhodes Classic. I feel like NXT really has a good first half of the year going for them right now, judging by everything that's lined up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pleased as punch.
Yeah, especially with what's announced later on tonight, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But then we have Gran Metalik versus Santos Escobar for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship.
All right.
Are you just sad Gran Metalik lost?
Didn't know that they were. I'm sad about everything that happened in this match. I didn't know that Santos and Gran Metalik were actually previously teammates.
I didn't know that either.
Did not know that. Yeah, they mentioned that right in the beginning of the match, and I was like, eh? Wild. All right, Gran Metalik, Santos Escobar. We get a nice head scissors on Santos, and then a fucking nasty little Hurricane Rana. Santos takes a minute outside the ring, and once he gets back in, there's a kick to the midsection of Mr. Gran Metalik. Gran Metalik handsprings off the ropes and misses Santos, but lands on his feet like a little fucking kitty. Don't tell Finn I said that. There's a flying head scissors to Santos. He tries to basement dropkick Gran Metalik, but Gran Metalik goes up on the fucking ropes and then backflips onto Santos. But, like... every time we see him fight now, I'm just like sitting there like, I don't get it.
It's that luchador
I just
style.
Don't get it. I guess. So then we get a senton back in the ring onto Santos. Gran Metalik plants Santos into the canvas and goes up top, but misses Santos with the back flip. In spite of missing him, he lands on his feet again, like just kind of rolls through. We then get a kick upside the head to Santos. Gran Metalik goes up to the top rope, goes for a Hurricane Rana, but is blocked by Santos catching him. Santos then jumps down from where he is, Gran Metalik in arms, and slams him into the barricade. He then, during the commercial break, I think probably one of the only 2 notes that I got from this time period was, at one point, Santos had Gran Metalik's one hand and one leg and was just kind of like pulling him against the fucking post, going his ribs in first. Got back in the ring and began kicking Gran Metalik in the spine. There was a backbreaker to Gran Metalik. When we got back, Gran Metalik was up on the top buckle. Santos was going for, I don't know, something. Essentially what happened was he got Gran Metalik over his shoulders and then dumped him backwards onto the turnbuckle, which made me just like fucking grit my teeth at first because I was like, we got an Archer submission hold on Gran Metalik. Gran Metalik then flipped Santos over with his little fucking leggies, and went for a relatively convincing cover on him at that point. I kind of thought it was over, and I was going to be happy. We get a kick to the face of Santos afterwards, and a super kick under the jaw, and a reverse sling blade, all to Santos. Gran Metalik does what he does best, dances up on the ropes for a minute, drop kicks Santos off of them. He then suicide dives over the top rope to Santos. My dude fucking, like, he's, like, you could tell his foot kind of lost balance on his kickoff from that rope, just because of the way the rope moved. Still looked clean as shit. Like, I don't even know if Gran Metalik's, like, capable of making mistakes at this point. Just judging by the way he's been doing. We get a splash off the top rope to Santos, and then a knee strike under the jaw of Santos. Santos catches Gran Metalik, however, with a pump knee strike to the midsection as he flies off the top rope. Gran Metalik at this point is outside of the ring, back to the barricade, and a suicide dive, basically like right into Gran Metalik's neck. Shoves him backwards further into the barricade. Santos then props Gran Metalik up onto the top buckle. He tries to rip Gran Metalik's mask off like a 500 fucking times. Gran Metalik then goes up on the ropes, and Santos pushes him backwards. Legado then go to attack Gran Metalik, who's standing on the apron, but Lindsay cannonballs onto them from the steps to protect his dear friend. We then get a Hurricane Rana to Santos, and then Santos pulls off the Legado to Gran Metalik and a Phantom Driver to win. I don't know if the Cruiserweight title is ever actually leaving Gran Metalik's hand at this point.
Gran Metalik?
Santos Escobar. Wishful thinking right there.
Yeah. Freudian slip. I thought this match was pretty dope. We didn't get any Legado interference. We tried, there was attempted interference, but
I didn't hate this match. I didn't dislike this match really. I just am tired of it seeing like why I just don't understand why we had Lucha House Party interfere like that. And maybe time will tell. I just don't know why we had them interfere like that if they weren't going to win the title.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just kind of felt right.
Right.
Because like you're not at a shortage of opponents for Santos. Lucha House Party is not on NXT.
I mean,
why were they fucking there in the first place?
I mean, they could have still had them with the Cruiserweight Championship, like how they had Charlotte Flair with the NXT Women's Championship.
Well, my hope is that at the very least, maybe with the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic happening, maybe we'll get something there.
Maybe, but I feel like that's just cementing that Lucha House Party will be on NXT.
Fine.
Yeah, honestly.
That doesn't hurt me.
But after that match, we had, oh god, we went into Xia Li versus Katrina Cortez. Who was that? She's some random luchador, I guess, that was in a women's battle royale with a bunch of random people. So
Yeah, she was. She was in that one where Casey was like a little fucking cat.
yeah, the one where I think Rhea or no, Candice won. It was
It
for
was like a fucking like woman's like.
like a
It's
battle
like
royal.
you might not understand this, but it felt like I was going through the shoe section at like a fucking Peter Harris in that battle royale because it was like, and Amelia's kicked out of the ring, and there goes Daisy, and it's like that's those generic fucking lady names are what they name like shoes and stuff like that, like styles of shoes. And my brain was just like, let's not act like we fucking know who these people are, okay? Good lord.
But yeah,
You can't even pretend like, oh, they're really big on 205 Live.
I would have hoped that Xia would have at least fought like Casey or Kaden or someone of any significance.
I don't think that would have like made it look like Casey was like enhancement talent either. It's just like that was like the last person she fought, and now she's back. It's scary. So
Yeah.
Also, important thing to question here. She was introduced, or I don't even know if she was introduced actually at this point. Maybe she was. We talked about this, I think, either Monday or last Friday. WWE trademarked, I mean, today alone, or yesterday or something, they trademarked a fucking shit ton of Chinese characters, like symbols, and like a bunch of like different like Chinese names. But last week we talked about how they trademarked Tian Sha.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was walking out, one of the screens, like over like the big NX, like the big X in the middle of like the top of the ramp, one of the screens said Tian Sha. So I don't know if that's a name. I don't know if that's a something.
Mm.
But here's the thing. I needed like one more promo tonight just to know what the fuck. Because I still don't know what the fuck is happening, and I don't know how they're going to go about doing some exposition.
When they said that Xylee would be returning today, I assumed it would be something significant, not just enhancement talent match.
Well, you should have known better.
True.
No offense.
They did the same thing with Karrion Kross, so I don't know what I expected.
Yeah. And didn't they do this with Bronson too?
I don't think so. Didn't Bronson fight like Ashante Adonis?
Yeah, but that I think still turned out to be kind of enhancement-y.
Mm.
But yeah, so Xia Li comes out, does a whole bunch of cool little moves with some small blades of some sort, which definitely are not allowed in the wrestling ring, Xia. Bo is there looking just cool as shit with sunglasses though, so I don't know if like the shit that happened to his eyes when William Regal went to check up on him, maybe it's just not healed yet. Who's to say? Just kind of reminds me of Dee in It's Always Sunny when they go to the Super Bowl and she's got pink eye.
Oh my god.
So she just wears sunglasses all day. And the VVH is there as well. Just simply vibing. It's no wonder that Katrina Cortez comes in from the opposite side of the ring because I don't know if they really had the time to move that chair, especially since it was needed at the end of the match.
You just see like a pink head just coming in the corner of the screen. You're like, oh, that's her opponent. Enhancement talent.
Just sitting with Wade and Vic, probably. Just waiting.
They could have just had her fight like Aaliyah or something.
I thought that they were going to have her fight Santana. When I saw the pink hair at first, I thought it was that, and then I saw the mask, and I was like, that's not Santana.
Unless Santana's doing some new shit now.
Fine. I wouldn't have noticed anyways. Anyways, we get the VVH Bo and Xia. I took maybe three notes on this. There's a kick upside the head of Katrina. We get some knee strikes and another kick to the head. Finally, a nasty fucking jumping knee strike and a kick to the face, and Xia Li wins. Or Tian Sha. I don't know. I feel immersed in a world that I don't quite understand. But you know what? I'm white. It was probably bound to happen sooner or later. Anyways, can we talk about my favorite fucking match of the entire world? The only thing that matters to me?
No, not yet.
The thing that defined my fucking sexuality. Fine, okay.
We had a little interview with Bronson Reed first. Love the man.
Love him.
He was just asked whose side he was on between Rhea and Raquel, and he sided with Rhea.
Oh, shocker.
And then we have Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez.
General Payne Drew here reporting for fucking duty.
But real talk, this match was fucking bonkers.
There were so many moments where I was like, I'm expecting the referee to pull the fucking X's out of nowhere right now. I'm expecting it.
Yeah.
So much shit happened where I like tensed up because I was like, oh my god, are they okay? Do we need to call the ambulance?
And for those who don't know, this is a last woman standing match where it's the match ends only when one wrestler is down and cannot get back up for 10 seconds.
There was only one thing that would have made this match better for me. Anyways.
Okay.
I have just like, truly, I have never been more in love with two women in my entire life. That's not true, Sonya Deville, but anyways, my god, so much pain. I just love them so much. Anyways, so we have an immediate kick to Raquel, and then Rhea just kind of fucking tackles her. And we roll around for a little while, just fucking slugging each other, which normally I kind of hate that shit when, like, all of a sudden it's, like, a girls pulling hair fight, or, like, kind of in that same format.
Yeah.
But, like, this looked nasty. This looked fucking mean. Like, the two girls at school that you really don't want to fuck around with just getting into a fight with each other, and you're like, horrifying, but exhilarating all at once. A clothesline just fucking takes Rhea down to the ground. We then get a crossbody overhead suplex like 3 fucking times. Rhea then slaps Raquel and kicks her kind of in the armpit. Maybe the tit. Either or. Not a great place to be kicked. We then get a Russian leg sweep and just a fucking, typical fucking Rhea Ripley. A mean fucking drop kick sending Raquel just into the nether regions of the fucking performance center. Or, sorry, the Capital Wrestling Center. Rhea pulls out a chair that doesn't get used, and I said, that wasn't a mistake. And a kendo stick. And just fucking kendo sticks the living bejesus out of Raquel. Then drop kicks her off the steel steps. Or rather, sorry, Rhea goes to fucking drop kick her off the steel steps. And Raquel picks up a steel chair, that steel chair that I mentioned earlier, and just kind of slaps her away. Rhea is then slammed into the barricade. Raquel grabs another kendo stick and essentially first hit breaks it over Raquel's back and then Rhea's back, and then continues to hit her with it. And I said, that's mean. That's very mean. Don't do that. And Raquel has handcuffs. Like, okay, sure. And she goes to handcuff Rhea, but Rhea, like, fights her off, grabs the handcuffs instead, and handcuffs Raquel to the barricade. Which, at this point, I was like, well, she's handcuffed in a position where she wouldn't really be able to, like, pass out. Because she was pretty high up. And she's a tall bitch, so. And while Raquel is handcuffed, Rhea just kind of, like, unloads on her. We finally get a kick to the face of Rhea. And Raquel Gonzalez takes the fucking handcuff, because at this point I'm saying, where are we fucking going from here? Takes the fucking handcuff and tears it off of the fucking steel barricade wire like it's a wet paper towel.
Strongest woman alive.
Like, I don't give a shit if they scored that particular section of steel, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I will be a mark here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She fucking tore that shit. It, like, my head fucking broke in half. Like, this, I'm not gonna go off too far on this tangent. This is why I fucking love the NXT Women's Division. Because Raquel's hot as shit, and she's also just fucking jacked. And I get to enjoy every fucking second of it. So good. Anyways. And now, after that, Raquel begins hitting Rhea with her handcuff full of chain link. Which shockingly didn't seem to, like, cut Rhea at all, which I kind of thought might happen. Rhea then goes and grabs the hammer for the bell to hit Raquel with, but Raquel instead slams Rhea's head into the bell. You know. Counter. Raquel then begins clearing the announce desk, and backbody drops Rhea into the announce desk, landing her right on the lower back area. Ooh. Mid-spine. Not great. Just crushing the fucking desk. Rhea finally gets up after Raquel has buried her. And Raquel loads her into the ring. Raquel just kind of launches Rhea onto and over the center. Actually, I think at this point we went to commercial break, but when we came back, we were on the stage now, and Raquel just kind of like took Rhea and like fucking launched her onto the stage, but then down the fucking steps. Bananas. After this, Rhea's getting slammed around backstage. She sends some elbows back to Raquel Gonzalez, and then Rhea slams Raquel through a door, breaking the top panel of glass. And for a full second, I said, maybe this is where it ends. But it doesn't. Raquel is then, both of them get up. Raquel is slammed into some of the lockers backstage, and then the crafty table, and then Rhea Ripley climbs up very, 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 very high, and then just fucking jumps down onto Raquel. Crushing the table. Crushing Raquel. Somehow Raquel gets up. And then Dakota Kai comes out of fucking nowhere with a fucking kendo stick. Attacks Rhea, and I thought, okay, this is where it ends. Like, this is kind of annoying. I don't really like interferences like this, but whatever. Rhea, however, gets up, begins smashing Dakota Kai all over the place. And then shoves Dakota Kai into a fucking locker. Which, one, impressive. Did not know Dakota Kai was that fucking small. Two, and as if that wasn't enough, she just goes, before turning around and dealing with Raquel. I can't stand it. Anyways. After this, Raquel then slams Rhea with a fucking chair. We get an inverted cloverleaf, and Rhea takes that chair and wraps it around Raquel's neck. Just, yeah, cuz. Raquel then sends Rhea backwards into a corner of the screen, which I don't really know if that was intentional. Rhea just kind of smacked her head onto it. And then Rhea shoves Raquel backwards into the big fucking X at the top of the ramp, causing that to malfunction for a hot minute, or malfunction. Then we get Rhea sent face first into some steel steps, and Raquel Gonzalez goes up onto those steel steps, which, by the way, I have no memory of how they even got up to the top of the fucking ramp like that, but whatever. Then Raquel takes Rhea Ripley in her arms and power bombs her through the fucking stage. And Rhea is counted out. It is also important for me to note that before Rhea Ripley jumped down onto Raquel laying on that crafty table, She just went, suck it, and jumped. Every Wednesday, I become more and more attracted to her, and I didn't know that was possible. Cheers, Brohan.
Do you like want to be left alone or something? Do you want to run to the bathroom real quick?
We had a picture-in-picture commercial break, basically, where a trainer, a bunch of referees had their arms on, like, Rhea, and one of them was Drake Words, and then Rhea screamed, "Get off me," and I said, "Here you go, baby." And then, like, the trainer came over and, like, had his hand on her knee and was like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" I was like, "Why can't that be me?" I love her so much.
Do you want to, like, do you want to slot out, like, 15 more minutes to talk about this?
I'm just in love with her. I'm in love with Raquel too, but Raquel won, so I don't feel like
the whole world knows your love for Rhea.
Just not Rhea. Anyways.
You sure you don't want more time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just like being able to do this because I'm not a creepy man.
Okay. So after that, we had the Gargano's Cavalcade, where they were in a car, in a convertible, I think, driven by Austin Theory, followed by, like, police cars or something, all with green lights, and Johnny and Candice were standing up in the car, holding up the title, and just driving down the road through the entire commercial break, and then we come back from commercial, and they're pulling up to the Capitol Wrestling Center. It turns out they're doing a little bit of a celebration. It's
I like that we both, in my notes, I also used the term cavalcade.
Because it's what they said.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought my brain just decided to use that word.
No.
Well, that's embarrassing for me. They got my face, huh?
It was a celebration for Johnny's curse being broken. And so they had their little celebration in the ring. Candice, Indy, and Austin unveil a little present for Johnny, and it's a plaque that says curse with a little slash through it. And then Austin and Indy reveal one more present, and it's a piece of artwork of them all as superheroes, specifically as the Avengers. Johnny's Iron Man, Austin Theory's the Hulk, and Johnny the whole time is like, "Dude, look at your muscles, look at your traps. Are those to scale?" And then I think Indy was Black Widow, and Candice was Thor. And
oh, was Candice Thor?
Yeah, she had like the cape and like.
I thought she was the doctor guy.
No, I think she was Thor. I think it was supposed to be like the OG Avengers.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah. But then out of nowhere, Shotzi Blackheart comes out in her brand spanking new tank, and Austin Theory's like, no, none of this. Walks up the ramp, and Shotzi just shoots the fucking ball from her tank into Austin's dick, and he is down in pain. She calls out Candice. Johnny's mad too, and then out of nowhere, Kushida also comes in, and this is the segment that was done impromptu in place of Tommaso and Thatcher, and then we suddenly have a mixed tag match between Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, and Shotzi Blackheart and Kushida.
Quite honestly, watching Dexter, like hearing the bell ring and having absolutely no clue, because I was like, did they say something in the beginning of this? And just seeing Dexter Loomis standing there with the bell, I was like, buddy.
And then he joined Vic and Wade on commentary.
My dude was standing up for so long, and finally we came back from commercial, and he's sitting down. And Wade Barrett's fucking terrified of the dude. Love this. So we start with Candice and Shotzi first, and mind you, we were reminded Candice will only be fighting Shotzi, and Johnny will only be fighting Kushida, because God forbid we have an actual mixed match. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry.
Thank God.
Which, to be fair, we almost got a semblance of that when Bronson Reed, like, frog splashed down onto Candice at one point.
Yeah.
So...
Didn't he also... oh, yeah. I remember what you're talking about. Because he, like, had... No, he had Candice in his arms. Johnny was on the ground, and he, like, frog splashed with Candice onto Johnny or something like that.
Something like that. Or with Johnny onto Candice, I think. Yeah. I'm not sure. Anyways, we have Candice and Shotzi first. There's... I'm gonna be honest here, by the way, there were a couple moments where I just lost myself because everybody was in the ring at the same time towards the end. But we get a step up enzuigiri to Candice, and then a senton. Candice drives Shotzi into the post and just, like, kind of takes to breaking her fucking arms. Dexter Lumis is vibing at the fucking announce desk. Just happy to be there. We'll get into it. Shotzi hyperextends Candice's arm and plants her. And then there's an inverted atomic drop and an arm drag drop. Yeah, God bless. Let me try that again. We then have Kushida in. And to Mr. Gargano, we get an inverted atomic drop, an arm drag, a drop kick. Basically, what Jeff Hardy could do if he just slowed his movements down a tiny fucking bit. Because when Kushida does, I'm like, oh shit, what's coming next? Now I know. With Jeff, it's just like, I've got to get these moves out before I, like, fucking lose all will to live again. Anyways. Johnny rolls Kushida up. Doesn't work. Kushida drags Johnny to the ground, right into an armbar, which is transitioned into the Gargano escape, and then Kushida transitions it back into the armbar. Kushida then just wrenches Johnny's arm down with him, and at this point, Vic makes a comment saying, hey, wait, are you going to make fun of Dexter's suit the same way you made fun of mine? Because they're wearing somewhat similar suits. And Wade's like, oh, no, I wouldn't do that. And fucking Vic, because Vic and Wade have been kind of at each other's throats all night tonight like a fucking gaggle of hens. Fucking Vic is like, oh, backtrain Barrett here on New Year's Evil. And I was like...
Backtrack Barrett.
Oh, backtrack and Barrett. Sorry, I have glasses, you know. Because earlier during Rhea and Raquel's match, Vic had said a million times that anything's legal. And Wade made a catty fucking remark. And I'm gonna be real honest with you. Their hatred of each other works so much better in my head than fucking Corey and Michael Cole. Jesus. Really just forgot that man's name. Anyways. There's a punch to the face of Johnny Gargano, and, like, it's like a real fucking punch. Like, it doesn't really look like Kushida's pulling anything right now. Which makes me a little worried. Because, like, what does he know?
Yeah.
What does he know that we don't? We then get Candice back in because she sees Kushida going after Johnny, and she steps between the two of them because Kushida can't fucking touch her, and distracts him. Johnny goes to attack Kushida, who sidesteps, and Johnny nearly kicks Candice. We get a double arm wrench to the Garganos from Shotzi and Kushida shortly after they actually did a team offense to Candice, in which they, I don't know, it was sort of a similar move to Oni and Danny's team offense, where it's sort of like they get her up on, like, both their shoulders and then drop her.
Yeah.
Kushida then handsprings into Johnny Gargano through the ropes. Shotzi suicide dives, taking LeRae all the way fucking down. It was kind of insane and kind of ridiculous. Kushida goes up top, and Indy takes Shotzi down in the process. Austin then pushes Kushida into the ring from the top rope, and then kind of stands there, not really knowing what the fuck to do. Kushida kind of just like looks at him like, what the fuck? And throws him into the ring. Kushida then sends Johnny Gargano headfirst into Austin Theory's balls and a Panama Sunrise to Johnny Gargano to win. Baby. I don't know.
Okay. That match was fun as hell.
It was a very fun match, and just the sheer fact that Dexter Lumis hates Johnny enough to be like, no, we're doing this.
But I think that match also shows that we're gonna see Kushida in the North American Championship scene.
Also, the Kushida Shotzi team up.
Yeah.
When they came out together, or when Kushida came out for Shotzi, I was like, what the fuck is happening here? I'm excited.
But we had another exciting thing right after this. We had a little interview with William.
There's one more exciting thing before that.
Oh, they announced TakeOver. They announced the next TakeOver, which will be happening on Valentine's Day.
32?
They didn't give a number with it. It is 32. Oh no, it's 33 because War Games was 32.
Oh, I always forget that like things that aren't specifically takeovers, like just takeover. I don't know why I do that, but Valentine's Day. Vic and Wade get to spend Valentine's Day together.
I love the way Wade phrased that. It's just like, I had plans for Valentine's Day, and now I gotta spend it with you. And Vic was like, yeah, we gotta spend it together now.
No, he said I had plans for Valentine's Day, but they were just upgraded. And Vic said, yeah, because we get to spend Valentine's Day together. And I said, this is my favorite announcing team.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Because Vic is so sweet, and Wade is just such a cock.
Yeah. But after that, we had an interview with Willie Reegs, where he announced that the Dusty Rhodes Classic will start next week. And previously, during the little promo with Johnny and Candice, they announced that Johnny and Austin will be entered into the Dusty Rhodes Classic tournament. And I have all of the teams here listed here that will be in the tournament. So it's Undisputed Era with Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, Everrise, Breezango, Kurt Stallion and August Gray, Drake Maverick and Killian Dane, Imperium, Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory, and the Grizzled Young Vets. And next week we're going to be getting Undisputed Era versus Breezango and Everrise versus Grizzled Young Vets. And another announcement was just made by Mr. Dexter Lumis. He showed a little drawing, a little sketch of the women's Dusty Rhodes Classic. That's fucking awesome.
NXT, once again, just doing more for women's wrestling than literally anybody else has time to do.
Yeah, NXT tweeted that announcement with just, it's about time.
I'm so excited for this.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that Casey and Kaden are part of it too.
They will.
I heard that from my room first before I heard it on here.
I accidentally clinked my two glasses. But they'll probably, they'll have those two. Probably Indy and Candice. Obviously Raquel and Dakota. Maybe Rhea and Io? Maybe? I don't know. It's because wait.
I'd say Rhea and Shotzi before Rhea and Io.
Wait. Does this mean they're introducing a women's tag team title? Because what else would they be fighting for?
Dude, Trips is doing more for the fucking tag team scene than literally anybody else in the WWE.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or whatever producer is in charge of that shit. I'm just gonna give it to Trips for now, but...
Well, I mean,
or we can give it to Willie Reegs, because he's pictured next to Trump.
Trips is like the Vince of NXT. I think Reegs is like the Adam Pearce of NXT. Because I think Adam Pearce is the
Reegs
general
is the
manager.
I love Willie Reeks. So can I just say, I do love that the announcements that were made today, first of all, with the Johnny, Candice, Shotzi, Kushida match, and now this. I mean, that match, it was just Dexter ringing the bell and then pointing at the drawing he did. And then we announced this by Dexter lifting up a drawing that he did. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Dexter's
I'm so excited
great.
for this. I think that this is great.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's just fucking NXT doing more for the women's wrestling scene than I've seen done for anybody in a lot of promotions at this point.
Yeah.
Especially like mainstream promotions.
Yeah. And I also want to acknowledge that, like, Dexter Lumis is utilized so well in NXT. Like, they clearly see the value in him. So yeah, Kat, I get it. She sucks.
Yeah, the worst. Oh.
But yeah, they clearly see the value in Dexter Lumis and like his character and everything. And if he was on the main roster, he would be completely sidelined.
Yeah, I mean, I think they use him so perfectly and just sparingly enough that like it doesn't ruin anything about him.
Right.
I love it. And for anybody that's ever said, I don't understand his gimmick or like he needs to talk or shit like that, it's like, no. No.
Yeah.
That's where it begins and ends. No. Take that, bitch.
Yeah, like you don't need to explain to you holding your hand. You know?
Like he's just fucking scary. Accept it. That's it.
But then we move on to the main event, Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn Balor. Kylo O'Wrestle versus Fine Balor.
I love this. Actually, I really wasn't that thrilled with this fucking match. I was kind of disappointed in a weird way.
You were disappointed by the finish. I wasn't. I love this match a lot.
I feel weird saying that I was disappointed with anything in NXT because I'm always just like, I mean, to a degree, I guess. But anyways. So we start with head scissors on Finn. And then a kick to the head of Finn. We get an arm sub on Kyle, which is moved back into a head scissors on Finn, which takes him like a full minute to fucking escape. Then we get a kick to the face of Finn because we're just saying fuck that jaw at this point. Kyle begins twisting Balor's fingers and then wrenches his arm. Quick transition puts Finn into an armbar. And then Finn manages to get up. He gets an abdominal stretch on Kyle. Kyle reaches the rope with his mouth, which I had problems with, as it were, because
Mm-hmm.
And Balor releases him and then stomps on the rope, reverberating all that shit into fucking Kyle's mouth, which just apparently hurts his fucking jaw, and I don't blame him. Kyle rolls around for a little while, acting like he's dying. Kyle then pulls Balor's arm under him as he falls, just wrenching it the wrong fucking direction. We get a knee to the back of Balor, and we get that again a second time, but this time Kyle is charging towards Finn. Then we get a dragon screw to Finn's arm. Balor sets to work, kind of just trying to really fucking break Kyle's jaw instead. We get a belly to back on Kyle and a crossface thereafter. Kyle manages to reach the ropes. Finn grinds Kyle's jaw for a while. We get a forearm that takes Kyle down to the mat and a knee to the midsection on Finn. The second time that Kyle manages to do that, it sends Finn spiraling. A leg sweep takes Finn down. Kyle does it a second time. We then get a knee strike to the midsection of Finn again, and Kyle rolls him up with a leg submission hold. The cat is standing. Finn trips Kyle clean out of the fuck.
I heard that.
That was like a furry fucking dart. Yeah, scratch your little face, freak. I feel like one day somebody's gonna watch this and be like, they're so mean to her.
Yeah.
But Finn like trips Kyle straight out of the fucking ring, and Kyle O'Reilly, king of selling shit, just flies from the fucking ring. Doesn't even like land on the apron. No, he lands like a couple feet from the fucking apron in the ringside area. Just flops down. Like, okay. Kyle's nearly counted out at this point. We get a guillotine to Finn, but never gets locked in, and then a triangle submission on Finn's jaw. When that doesn't work, Kyle moves onto a leg bar on Finn, and then manages to grab the other heel as well, so Finn really doesn't have that much room to move. But Finn just fucking slams Kyle into the mat, gets him into a submission hold. Kyle fights out of it. We get some strikes to the ribs of Finn and a sling blade to Riley, just aggravating that fucking draw more, and a nice little stomp to the fucking chest, which I genuinely don't understand how you do that without just being really mean about it. Because, like, it's literally just your body landing on somebody's chest.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, oh, well, if I put my foot down here and, like, kind of make a stomping sound, like, it'll sound worse or anything like that. It's like, no, it's just painful. We get a drop kick to Kyle into the buckles, and then it looks like it's kind of like coup de grace time. But Kyle, as Finn's going up onto the ropes, Kyle kicks him in the foot, knocking him off balance. We get a massive suplex off the second rope to Finn Balor, and then a brain buster, and at this point, Finn Balor is bleeding from his fucking face. At first it looked like it was his head, but I think just because of the momentum and the movement, it kind of went backwards. But we get a brain buster with no pin. Kyle gets the armbar locked in successfully. But a boot to the midsection of Kyle, and then an abdominal stretch that ends up transitioning down into just like Finn having both arms and one of Kyle's legs. And just no clear exit strategy for Kyle. Kyle fucking taps out, which I didn't love. I didn't love him tapping out. Once you told me that he had one of his legs, I was like, okay, I kind of get it. But like, I think maybe it was just like the timing. I think that this match could have gone a little longer and would have been a little. The tap would have been more convincing to me.
I don't know.
But
I think this. Sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say that I think they fell victim to what sometimes happens with repeat matches like this, where it's like that first one was fucking spectacular. This one could have been as good as it gets, but if it wasn't just astronomically better, it wouldn't have been better. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I still really enjoyed this match. Maybe as much as the first one. I think the ending was great because the whole I was rooting. I was like hoping there wouldn't be a tap out, because I think that's less climactic than a pinfall. But I think the way it was done was perfect because the submission looked like it was like literally impossible to break out of. Like I couldn't imagine a scenario where Kyle could break out of that. And I don't know. It was just so brutal, and I don't think there could have been any more they could have done to make it better. But it makes sense for them to give the title still to Finn, because I don't think they'll give the title to Kyle without a much longer story. I think he needs more solo time before that happens.
I kind of thought that it made sense for him to win just going into the Dusty Rhodes Classic and stuff like that, but I'm not. And again, this is what I always say with like NXT, is that it's like I didn't love this match, but I really liked this match.
Mm-hmm.
And even for as disappointed as I was kind of with how it turned out, in comparison to a lot of other main roster matches, I was just like, this is great. Thank you. And she's back. Look at that.
Yeah, she's looking for a place to pee right now.
Don't think about it. Yeah, curl back up on my side of the bed. I know you'll be there.
Oh, but that's our New Year's evil. That is our New Year's evil.
That's our New Year's evil.
Yeah. Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah.
All right, so bests of the night now?
All right, Pete. I'm going to need you to weigh in on this.
I think the worst of the night is Kat.
Oh, worst of the night definitely goes to Kat.
Yeah. Worst promo.
Not a single. Oh, go on.
I was gonna say worst promo of the night is whatever the fuck's going on in DC right now.
Don't bring that up. My
Was that a bad joke?
Among friends, maybe not.
Okay.
Among strangers, maybe. But it's just so annoying because, like, with the cat, our cat is on antidepressants, which is just. She got there before I did. Congrats, cat. And that's because she's an anxious little baby because somebody fucking declawed her. One day I'll find them, and I'll fucking Liam Neeson them. But not even 24 hours after her vet said, we should probably start tapering her off the medication, I said, yeah, I guess that's fair, because like, if it's not good for her in the long run, I guess I would like to not have to give it to her every night. She's like, but let me give you a reason. And I said, we clean your litter box, we feed you, we love you. What can we do, ma'am?
This isn't the P-Fall podcast. We gotta go back to wrestling.
I don't get to talk to people anymore, Mark. I need to talk to people.
You have a phone. Alright, so promo of the night. Would you consider Dexter playing with the lights a promo?
I mean, I liked it a lot.
Well,
I'll consider it.
Alright, so we had Dexter Lumis introducing the show, playing with the lights. That was so funny. That was great. Perfect way to introduce the show. Then we had the interview with Cole and Roddy, which was interesting, just like the little announcement. The Bronson Reed interview was Then we had the what?
My only meeting this week was moved to next week! Woo!
Okay.
Sorry, folks. This meeting has been a monkey on my back. Yeah, dang! Another victory for Liz. High five! In there?
Alright, so I'm just gonna switch cameras real quick. There we go. Alright, so yeah, we had the celebration with the Garganos, their little cavalcade, which became their in-ring celebration. Alright, Liz is just, celebrating her ass off like the Garganos. But this was fucking great. Shotzi coming in, shooting Austin's balls. God, you know what? I'm putting you back away. I'm distracting.
Oh, was I on?
Yeah, you were on. Very distracting. All right. So, yeah, I fucking love the celebration with the Garganos. And then we had the William Regal interview, which was great, just because of the wonderful announcement. All right, Liz, I'm putting you back on so we can discuss. Just kidding, I'm not really. My pick for promo of the night is the Garganos curse celebration. Liz, you're back on.
Oh, you said that you were putting me away again.
Well, yeah, but I'm not just gonna sit here in silence.
Oh. I mean, there weren't that many promos, so I guess I kind of have to agree with you. Primarily for Austin Theory getting shot in the balls, and also because I'm going to include in that promo Dexter Lumis ringing the bell.
That wasn't the promo.
Okay. I didn't know if we were going to include that as part of the match, but that sealed the deal for me, just because Dexter Lumis got to say, I fucking hate you guys. Let's go.
All right, so then we have Wrestler of the Night. So, this one is fucking tough for me. We started off with Damian Priest versus Karrion Kross. I'll go with Damian on this one. Damien actually put on a hell of a show, and to see where he was at In Your House compared to this, he is a completely different fucking wrestler. I mean, he looks fantastic now. He looks like a mini Seth. Funny. Yeah, no, I fucking love how Damien's been wrestling lately, and I love that he's moved away from like the stupid Archer gimmick in his moves. I don't mind that it's like still his character gimmick. Like the broken arrow looks fucking cool. All of his moves just look super cool. And I think he just put up a better performance than Carrion did. Carrion didn't seem that convincing today. And then we had Gran Metalik versus Santos Escobar. And I picked Gran Metalik. Gran Metalik looked amazing. Like, everything he did just was a fucking wonder. He always puts up a hell of a performance, except, maybe in a few episodes. But lately he's just been top form, and he really showed that today in this faux pay-per-view. And then we had Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez. And you know what? I'm going to go with Raquel on this one. Raquel just looked mean. She looked fucking fierce. She got off a lot more of her moves than Rhea did. And pulling off, like, ripping the fucking chain link fence apart, even if it may have been scored, that was the most badass move I've ever seen in wrestling. And that 100% just blows away anything Rhea did.
I can't necessarily say that because Rhea did take hits like a fucking champ. And like hits that like, and I think this is what I always like about Rhea, is that there has not been a match with her lately that hasn't ended in me thinking, oh my god, why would she agree to do any of this? Like, she fucking puts all of her heart into these matches. And, like, will take bumps that, like, scare the piss out of me alone. But also Raquel goes along with it, which I think that's why this is such a fucking good match.
Mm-hmm.
And Raquel ripping that fucking chain link, sorry. But Raquel ripping that chain link fence and then beating Rhea with the fucking remains of it on the fucking handcuffs. That, in and of itself, was way more badass than like when Triple H fucking tried to rip Dave Bautista's nose ring out.
Oh yeah.
Like, that move alone and like what came after it was so much more like, oh my fucking god, who the fuck is this, than anything I've ever seen from a fucking man. Yeah. It was, oh my, ridiculous.
But then we have Shotzi Blackheart and Kushida versus Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. And Kushida just fucking went all out today. I mean, he is one of the most fun wrestlers to watch just because of how much momentum he has whenever he's in the ring and how energetic he is. He really showed that today, and I don't think there was much variation in how he normally wrestles like today compared to the last time he wrestled, but still, like, he is one entertaining guy to watch. And then, last but not least, we had Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn Balor. It's a tough pick here, but I'm gonna go with Finn on this one. Finn was, not only did he wrestle like a fucking champ, but he also brought the storyline into it by targeting Kyle's jaw and basically said, fuck you, here's my goddamn receipt. You're gonna feel as much pain as I did, but I'm still gonna fucking win because I'm a goddamn champ. Yeah, Finn, and then had a whole bloodied head at the end too, and fought through that as well. Fought through a messed up arm in the middle of the match, and God, he really just showed us why he's just the best in NXT right now. And picking tonight's Wrestler of the Night is gonna be super fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna eliminate Damien. Oh, I completely skipped Xia and what's her name? Katrina, whatever.
That's okay. I mean, were you going to pick one of them besides Xia?
Yeah, I was gonna pick Katrina.
Well.
But God, so it's not Gran Metalik, it's not Damien, it's not Kushida. Fucking it's between Raquel and Finn. And I think I'm gonna give the win to Finn Balor. I think comparing the two, if we're talking about overall wrestling and story components in their wrestling, I think Finn just had a leg up on Raquel. Raquel was mean. Look, the amount of times that Finn...
That promo last week mean nothing to you?
I mean, okay, that was last week, though.
But it set us up for this, and fucking Raquel said, "I'm not your fucking friend," or
but
more or less.
Liz, that's match. That's what we judge for match of the night, not wrestler of the night. And I'll get there when we get to match of the night. So...
I don't want to agree with you. I don't know. It's hard. I like them both.
Would it make you feel better if I say I was going to give Rhea and Raquel match of the night?
Well, you've just spoiled everything now.
Yeah, well, you weren't going to move towards Finn if I didn't say that. And I still don't know if you are.
You could have just said it'd be worth your while.
No, that implies a lot of things. Our audience doesn't know what that implies.
I figured they'd know what it would imply after you fucking said something.
So who are you picking? What happened?
I'm picking to jump out my window. Fine. I'll take Finn.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Alright, so match of the night. I did kind of spoil it, but I'm still going to talk about all of them. Who knows, maybe I'll change my mind. Alright, so we started off with Damien versus Carrion. This match was a little underwhelming. Just because I expected, like, a lot more aggression from Carrion, considering how mean he's been and how much we've seen him as, like, super aggressive lately. Yeah.
I'm also sold, and I think you'll have a bigger opinion on this. I'm also not so sold on, well, ironically, the no-sells. I mean, like, Damien hit him with some hard shit, and Karrion was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not quite Fiend no-sells.
It's more Dexter Loomis no-sells, I guess, at the end of the day, which I'll take. But, I mean, that's kind of why, I think that's why, in terms of, like, big badass guys, I really like Timothy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because Thatcher fucking sells shit through the fucking door, but then we'll come back with just as hard shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just missed the fight pick, guys. That's all this is.
Honestly, yeah. But I mean, the match we got in place of it was still a great match.
Also, we will get the fight pit sooner or later once Tim Tam Thatcher arms and muscles ready for the matchy match. Gets his arms and muscles ready for the fucking matchy match. Part of your goddamn name,
so
dude.
Up next, we had Gran Metalik versus Santos Escobar. I thought this match was great, mostly because of Gran Metalik, the fact that we didn't really have any interference. I do think the results should have been different. Having Santos win kind of ruins the storyline of what storyline there was. If there was anyone who was gonna, if there was anyone who was gonna take the title off of Santos, Gran Metalik should have been the one to do it, unless they're bringing Sin Cara back. If they're bringing Sin Cara back, let him take it, because Gran Metalik was wearing Sin Cara's original colors today.
I thought Gran Metalik looked kind of like a Power Ranger.
He did. Well, that's what his gear normally looks like, but the colors were very much a throwback to Sin Cara.
Sorry, Finn Balor just posted a picture of his disgusting gashed head, and I...
Oof.
Let me just say, folks, it's not like a super gory picture by any means, but like...
I'm looking at it.
Ugh. It's just like seeing that gash. Also, I'm in love with him. For as many fucking cat references as he fucking makes.
But where was I? Oh yeah, Gran Metalik versus Santos. Gran Metalik should have won, unless they're bringing back Sin Cara. But at the moment, I do think the results should have been different. And then we had Xia Li versus Katrina Cortez in a waste of a match, I guess. I don't know. This is lame. Although Xia Li did have an insane fucking kick at the end that looked like it kicked a hole into Katrina Cortez's head.
She really said, "You're gonna take some bumps here, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. Sorry."
Yeah.
But the thing that makes me like a little iffy is that like kind of with enhancement talent, I get it when like the moves are a little more harsh. Because like it's 5 seconds in the ring, you're gonna get hit a couple times, but you're not gonna get hurt. No big deal. I don't know if she can carry that kind of ferocity safely into a real match.
I think she will. I think so.
I am interested to see where this is going, though, at the very least.
I do really like Zaya's new walkout music. That shit sounded real good.
Yeah.
And then we move on to Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez. This match was intense. It was brutal. It was a creative-ass match. And my god, did it just look great. Rhea and Raquel both gave a hell of a performance. Dakota Kai showing up was fantastic, and her being shoved into the locker was just the icing on the cake. The bump through the glass was amazing. Everything about this match was just perfect. It was everything women's wrestling needed and more. And then we move on to Shotzi Blackheart versus Kushida. Shotzi Blackheart and Kushida versus Johnny Gargano. God. Versus Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. This was a great, entertaining match that was just... It was just great. That's really all there was to it. And then Austin Theory getting involved, being thrown into the corner, and then having Johnny thrown headfirst into Austin's balls was just, again, the icing on the cake. It was beautiful. And then Dexter Lumis, also on commentary, was the extra little bit of perfect. And lastly, Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn Balor. Great match, but I don't think lightning can strike twice. in the same spot. And they tried to do that with this match. It was still a great match. But I think the ending was missing something. The ending last time was, it ended, there was that mutual respect, and then it ended with Ridge Holland showing up and kind of giving us a carrying point from there.
Remember the name.
Oh god, yeah. This match didn't really...
Ridge, I kind of miss you, dude.
I know. We need a big British guy.
I want him to come back, but I don't know if he's ever going to because he destroyed his fucking legs.
Oni destroyed his legs.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, this match didn't really have a carry-off point.
I also think that, like, with the last match, because the last match I think was around 40 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. The last match, like, they looked fucking tired at the end. Like, it looked like...
It was like 40 minutes, but there were supposed to be like 15 more minutes.
So, okay. But the thing is that, like, they looked fucking tired at the end. They looked... Like, I don't think that they could have gone that much longer. In this match, it definitely still looked like they could have gone longer than they did. And I guess it just kind of sucks a little extra because I don't think that we're going to get this match again, at least not for a long while. Because, we rarely get repeat matches for these kinds of events in the first place. That I don't see it happening 3 times. But I think it's just because that first match was so crazy good that just because this match fell a couple degrees short of that, it seems so much less in respect.
I think that where we're definitely going next is Carrion going for the title. That 100% is where we're going to go, because otherwise, I mean, because another potential I had was Pete Dunne now goes for the title. Now that Kyle's out of the picture, gets it off of Finn, and that's the whole gloating with the brand of like, ha, we accomplished what you guys couldn't, maybe they'll even beat Undisputed Era at the Dusty Rhodes after the Dusty Rhodes tournament. But then Karrion comes in the picture and is like, ha, nice win, but the title's actually mine. But during that whole period of time where Finn doesn't have the title, what the fuck is he doing? That's where my confusion is.
I wouldn't worry too much about what's going to happen to Finn after he loses the title, because they're going to find something. This isn't just shit that they're like, one morning right before like fucking NXT, they're like, you know what we should fucking do? We should take that off of him and just, I don't know what's going to happen after that, but, it's not a good look to do when your nose is actually running a little bit. But I was going to say, because of the interaction Finn had with Pete last week, it would kind of make sense for Pete Dunne to be the person to take it off of him. Or to challenge him next, rather. How's that?
It's either going to be Pete or Karrion. One of the two. It depends on how fast they want to move through the storyline.
I think Karrion might be having his eyes set on the North American now.
I don't think so.
I only say that because he's been more involved in those storylines recently, and just because of Damien, but still. I don't see Leon going for the title again.
Kushida's going to go for it.
Maybe, okay, that's fair. I don't know. I think more so this is actually a question of what fucking Karrion's going to do now.
Yeah. Because Damien...
that's the bigger question.
Yeah, Damien's going to be going to the main roster.
Yeah.
Karrion, God, I don't know. Ugh.
Because I really see Pete going for the title next. Because he's the last person to have any words with Finn.
Mm-hmm.
And I see Kushida probably going after Johnny's title. So, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't think we have to worry about it too much because the Dusty Rhodes Classic is coming up and that will take up a lot of time on the show. So.
Yeah. I mean, they could also have both Karrion and Pete go for it at the same time and have a feud ahead of the title.
Do you think we could have a gauntlet?
A 2-man gauntlet.
William Regal's just fucking grasping at straws here. He's like, I need a fucking gauntlet. I need my fix.
I think the bigger mystery, actually, is what the fuck Kyle's gonna do now.
Can I just say, when the Kyle Finn fight ended and Kyle O'Reilly was just sitting there with his hand on his fucking face and like his elbow on his knee, I have never seen a man look that fucking sad in terms of kayfabe in a very long time. And I honestly was like, hi boy, hey little baby boy, oh. He looked so miserable after that. Like, he looked genuinely upset with himself, and I was like, this was planned from the start.
Right. I'm
gonna stop looking like Mother Teresa here.
They also might keep up this feud, but make it more personal rather than for the title, because I feel like the ending was more so like, this wasn't out of respect anymore, like, you were actually a fucking asshole this time.
Yeah, because Finn did offer his hand last time, and that's kind of what I thought was going to happen here. I thought, okay, clean ending, good. At least we have that. But there wasn't that clean ending. I wouldn't mind seeing this title defended against Kyle again on just a regular network show. Like a non-semi pay-per-view. But I just don't see it happening again on a pay-per-view.
Yeah. But we still need to crown a match of the night. And my pick for match of the night is still Raquel Gonzalez versus Rhea Ripley.
This match was the hardest fucking match I've seen in so fucking long. Like, I just, after going off of that Finlay interview where, like, he was talking about the Divas era and, like, having to write for that and shit, or produce that. Thinking of that as, like, a starting point kind of for women's wrestling, and then looking at what we just fucking saw tonight, this wasn't sexy. I mean, I thought it was sexy, but that's me. Like, on the general plane, this was not sexy. This was fucking scary as shit, and I fucking loved it. And this is what I wish all women's wrestling was.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's not. And this shit was heavy. That is a certified banger of a fucking match. I don't give a fuck. I love this match so much.
It's perfect. There was nothing wrong with it.
My fucking queen.
All right, so to run it back, our promo of the night, Gargano's Curse Celebration. Wrestler of the night, Finn Balor. Match of the night, Raquel Gonzalez versus Rhea Ripley. Liz?
All right. Hey, everyone. God, feels so good to think about Friday being free for Elizabeth. But you know what else it is? It's also SmackDown night, which isn't that great. I'm not really celebrating that anyway. But anyways. Please join us. Oh, well, if you joined us tonight, thank you. And if you joined us in the future, thank you. Hopefully there's some semblance of, like, not a fucking civil war happening.
Not a coup.
Hopefully something dramatically good has happened. Impeachment. Anyways, please join us on Friday. We will be talking about SmackDown, and we noticed that actually our SmackDown podcast last Friday was about an hour and a half long, so whereas, like, our fucking NXT podcast, this one's lasted about 2 hours now. Which I just think is funny. But please join us Friday. It'll be fun. We'll try to make it fun in spite of SmackDown. And who knows? Maybe we'll see Seth Rollins again. I'd like to.
Seth Rollins, Damian Priest,
Sonya. I hope everyone really likes my shirt because let me just tell you something.
Baby.
After spending 2 hours in the shirt, this is a comfy son of a bitch. Like, I am cozy as fuck right now. And got my little thumb holes. Which, I used to have like a lot of thermals like this back like in like high school, middle school.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked having my little thumb holes because I was like, hey, fabric. I don't know why this like makes me feel happy, but it does. And now I'm back to that, and I'm like, except you have to take your thumbs out of the holes when you go to the bathroom because you gotta wash your hands. And, you know, it's the bathroom. You don't want this in your...
You mean you don't keep gloves on when you wash your hands?
I don't keep my gloves on for a step prior to washing my hands either.
What?
That's
Why?
a lady problem, I guess.
Alright, well, thank you all for watching. We'll see you all on Friday for SmackDown. Follow us if you enjoyed. Check us out on YouTube to watch our previous podcasts or the rest of this one if you missed part of it. That's the Pinfall Podcast on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, our live show is twitch.tv/the Pinfall Podcast. And follow us on Twitter at Pinfall Podcast to be notified whenever we go live, as well as see our picks for wrestler and match of the night in case you missed an episode but still want to know who wins. And follow our personal Twitters. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. And follow my personal Twitch, twitch.tv/Mark Cameron, and check out our little project we're working on, the Universal Pokemon Federation on YouTube. Combination of Pokemon and WWE. And that's Cat. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you Friday for SmackDown. Say goodbye to Cat.
Booger.